With all the bad news about Democrats getting smacked last night in the 2014 midterms, there is a gigantic bright spot. We crushed almost across the board with the ballot initiatives. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. In Alaska, they decriminalized weed and increased their minimum wage. So win-win in Alaska. In Arkansas, they increased the minimum wage and they cracked down on lobbyists. That's fantastic. Win-win in Arkansas. California ended up reducing nonviolent drug crimes to misdemeanors. Again, that's huge. One of the articles on that said they may even end up letting some people out of prison now, nonviolent drug offenders out of prison. Fantastic stuff. In Colorado, they smacked down a radical fetal personhood bill, which would have given Second Amendment rights to zygotes. So win there. They also legalized certain kinds of gambling in Colorado. That's another thing I'm in favor of. I think gambling should be legal on a national level. In Illinois, there was a minimum wage increase, and they protected voting rights, and they taxed the rich to fund schools, and now they're mandating birth control for the insurance companies there, birth control coverage. In Massachusetts, they passed paid sick time. In Nebraska, they also raised their minimum wage to $9 an hour. New Jersey loosened some laws on weed detentions. So if you get arrested for a nonviolent drug crime, it used to be that they'd put you behind bars and then they'd set bail exorbitantly high. Now they've made it so that the bail can't be more than the person is capable of paying because it's such a minor crime. It probably shouldn't be fucking illegal in the first place. So they got more progressive on their drug laws. In North Dakota, they also rejected fetal personhood. Now, keep in mind, North Dakota's a pretty conservative state, and these guys are saying no to fetal personhood, which is a fantastic sign. In fact, all of these ballot initiatives are a pretty good sign. In Rhode Island, they legalized casino gambling in Newport. Again, I love that. In South Dakota, they raised their minimum wage. The minimum wages across the board, none of them lost. None of the minimum wage increases lost, even in the deepest red states. Oregon, ready for this? Probably the best news. Legalized weed and guaranteed equal rights regardless of sex. So two fantastic ballot initiatives that succeeded. The legalizing weed, I mean, I can't get over how great that is. They're basically copying the Colorado model. So fantastic there. I think D.C. also passed their ballot initiative on marijuana, but there's some sort of competing legislation problem there, and it's going to have to be, they're going to have to come to some sort of a solution. I don't know whether it's in court or elsewhere, but there's a question mark on that situation, but I know that the ballot initiative, whatever it was, did end up passing. Washington passed the best universal background check bill in the country, or ballot initiative in the country. So they basically have it now for online sales as well. The only things that they said are exempt, I believe, are antique firearm sales and one other. I don't remember what the other one was, but I know that it wasn't a big deal. It was, I think hand-me-downs, hand-me-down guns from fathers to sons or what have you. So other than that, everything now, they closed the gun show loophole and they mandated background checks for online sales now too. So that's fantastic. That's something that should be done in the entire country. So a win in Washington. And the only losses, Florida defeated medical marijuana, but we should not be too upset by that, and I'll explain why. Number one, money was flooding into Florida on that particular issue recently. I believe Sheldon Adelson was financing it, and he was on the side of, no, we don't want medical marijuana. So because of these incredibly deceptive ads, it ended up losing. But also, they needed 60% to pass it, and they got 58%. So 58% of the people in Florida are perfectly reasonable on that. They say, sure, no problem. Yeah, medical marijuana. What's the problem with that? So it lost, but it lost in a way that we can smile about because there's a chance that in the future, Sheldon Adelson's not going to be alive forever. In fact, he's probably doesn't have much time left. So in the future, we'll probably see them buckle on that. Hope maybe even go further. Maybe decriminalize at some point. Maybe legalize. Who knows? And here are the ones that are just hilarious. Alabama unnecessarily banned Sharia law. We spoke about that on the show yesterday, and we mocked it mercilessly. What the fuck are you doing? Have you heard of the Constitution? Have you heard of the First Amendment? We already have Sharia law banned. There's not a question as to whether or not it can be put in next Tuesday. It's already banned, but the fucking idiot voters are like, yeah, gotta go vote and make sure we ban that Sharia law. We're gonna come here next Thursday if we don't do that. So they fucking passed it. How embarrassing for these people. They passed it. And Tennessee has passed some unnecessary anti-abortion language, I think, for their state constitution. It's all, silly pandering to the far right. And Mississippi now has a right to hunt and fish. I love how they passed that as if me, you guys, Code Pink, and the new Black Panthers are conspiring like, all right, how do we take away hunting and fishing rights from people in Mississippi? Nobody's coming for your hunting and fishing rights. Nobody's coming for it, but we want a right to that. That's what we gonna vote on in our. They're like minimum wage, marijuana provision. Oh, hunting and fishing. Yeah, we gonna go ahead and put that in our Constitution. God, it's so silly. America is really it's not one country. Let's be honest. America is the Northeast and the West are basically the same country because we're very similar in our beliefs and our culture. But the Midwest and the South. Mississippi. We got a right to hunt. A very important thing on our Constitution. Right to hunting and fishing. God, stop it. You make us look so silly around the world. You have to stop this. But again, overall, we should be very, very, very happy about the one bright spot in the election last night, which is the ballot initiatives. And what this shows you is that issue by issue, the American people are overwhelmingly progressive. A majority of the American people on most of the issues are progressive. And when you have them vote on it directly, they say, yeah, I'd like to raise the minimum wage. Yeah, I'd like to legalize marijuana. And you name it.